Hello everybody, welcome to a new video. I don't do videos that much anymore. I know my camera's battery kind of sucks now. I'm really always kind of very tired at this point. I'm always at work or at school, so I don't really have time to make a lot of videos. But every now and again I like to. Like I said, I've just been really exhausted for a very long time. I don't have energy. It's basically getting sucked away from work and school all the time, so if I can make a video, I'll do it, but it's hard for me now. And like I said, I just don't have the energy. But now I just watched the Captain America Winter Soldier, and I figured I can talk about it. I said in one of my other videos I was going to review one movie, which I will review. I love the movie that I want to review. But I figured I could talk about these, because this is a topic everyone likes. It's a fun topic. And it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe films. Now, I want to put them in order of my least favorites to favorites. None of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies are bad. Let me just clear that up. They're all good movies, but some of them aren't as good as the other ones, and that's just the way it is. That's how movies are. I'm not going to include the TV series or the short films, because this list will go on forever, and Daredevil would take a very high spot. I just want to say, right now, it'd be within the top 3, most likely, if I were to include Daredevil. But I'm not doing TV, I'm doing strictly movies and strictly feature-length theatrical films. Sorry. I have no idea whether or not any of the animated movies tie in, or I'm not doing any of the comic spin-offs or anything like that. These are strictly theatrical releases. Anyways, let's move on. Now, the only reason these two are together is because I don't know which one I necessarily think is the least better of the two. It's Thor the Dark World and Iron Man 2. Now, Iron Man 2 did nothing. It just felt like a sequel that they made just to make a sequel. Thor the Dark World, it felt like complete filler for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as in these two movies just felt like they were made just so that way they can have movies, a follow-up movie for each character, which is fine. It can work really well. I mean, you can argue that Captain America Winter Soldier was just there to make a sequel for him, even though that story does help tie into other things, but we're moving on from that. These two in particular, though, they just completely felt like filler. This one the most. This one at least brought in one of the Infinity Gems. This one kind of just was there just to be there. Not bad, neither of them, but they just could have been way better than expected. And this also leads into a very fantastic Marvel movie, which we'll get into later, don't get me wrong. Next is The Incredible Hulk, and the reason why this is so low is because the Hulk definitely deserves a better movie. It's a good movie, but the Hulk really deserves a great movie, and no actor has been able to portray Bruce Banner up until Mark Ruffalo as well as he has. And I'm not talking about the guy who played David Banner in the TV show. I forgot his name, sorry. That show was great. He did really well in that, but theatrically, Ang Lee's Hulk, The Incredible Hulk, they were just kind of okay. Ang Lee's Hulk was alright. It could have been better, and this one is a lot better than that. But it needed more action, it needed more great epic Hulk moments, and it didn't have that. Maybe if they make another Hulk movie, it'll be better, but this just didn't hit the mark quite yet. The Hulk wouldn't hit his stride until the Avengers. Next is Captain America, the First Avenger. Great movie, but a little too montagey. I would like to see Captain America in more just straightforward action as opposed to saying, hey, here's what he did, let's show you clips of it. It does get good action in it, of course, and Chris Evans just hits the nail on the head as Captain America. He's as good as a theatrical Captain America, or live action, I'm sorry, Captain America that we're going to get. I know Red Brown did it, he did some TV ones, and then there was that one guy who did the 90s one that no one remembers, which was an okay movie. It's better than people remember, but it's not good. The Red Brown ones were pretty fun for TV movies, but Chris Evans finally hits the nail on the head as Captain America. And he did the Human Torch, which he kind of did alright. He kind of portrayed an arrogant guy, but he really hit his stride as Captain America. And this is where his acting, I think, took off, because in Snowpiercer he was great in that, and in movies before it he wasn't necessarily bad, but he just wasn't there yet, and this movie definitely shows how good of an actor he can be. Next, this is the movie that put Chris Hemsworth on the map. It is Thor, and I know he might have been in some movies before this one. I haven't seen him, but Thor is a great fun film. It has great action set pieces. not a lot of them, obviously. A lot of the movie is just Thor being a normal human, but when it has the action in it, it's really well done. I liked him when he fought that big iron thing, the thing that kind of resembles the Sentinels from Days of Future Past, the movie. It almost looks like them, has kind of the same powers too. I'm not sure that was intentional. I mean, the future Days of Future Past ones, but this is a lot of fun. It has a lot of heart, a lot of good humor in it. It's definitely a fun film. Not perfect, but it's almost there. Next is Marvel's Avengers Age of Ultron. Not as good as the first one. I feel as though my friends, when we saw it, they thought this was better than the two. But this one just kind of just slightly hit the mark. I saw this twice in theaters. It's definitely not a bad movie at all. It's like I said, none of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies are bad. But this one, it felt as though it needed more. I loved Ultron. I want to let everyone know that. I felt as though Ultron was awesome. I thought he was funny. I thought he was a great character. James Spader did great as his voice. I felt the vision could have been in it a bit longer, even though the build-up to him was really cool. I can't put my finger on it, though. I can't put my finger on why this movie isn't as good as it should be. It has good characters, it has good comedy, it has great action. The action in this movie is phenomenal. But it's just not there. There's something in it that's not there. Maybe it's because it's just the same Avengers again. It's not a new team of Avengers, which is why I wasn't so impressed with Marvel Phase 2 films. I mean, I love the Marvel Phase 2 films a lot, but I wanted to see more additional teams of the Avengers. I didn't want to just see the Avengers again, which is fine. I love the Avengers. I love seeing them again. And in fact, Captain America Winter Soldier is one of the best ones. And maybe that's where it's kind of off-putting, because we're just seeing the same team again doing a similar mission to the first movie. Not bad, but it is so much fun that I can ignore the slight gripes I have with it. It has a lot of great pacing, a lot of great action, a lot of heart, a lot of characters. Just an overall good time. Now, this one has to be in a high list, because this is the one that started it all. It's Iron Man. If it wasn't for Iron Man, we wouldn't have the Avengers. And this was before, most of these were even before Disney owned Marvel. This was Paramount. A lot of these were Paramount before Disney bought them up for the first Avengers movie. Well, before Disney bought Marvel, that is. This one I saw in the theaters with my dad, and I had a blast watching it. I know some people might complain that there's not enough action in it, but it's not about the action. It's about building up the character of Tony Stark as Iron Man. It's the introduction of him. Seeing what he had to go through to become Iron Man was great. It was a lot of fun. It had so much great moments. And Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark is the pinnacle of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He is the character to the T, and it is wonderful. My dad said he didn't like how cocky he is, but because my dad's an old school comic book fan, but I picture in modern day this is what Tony Stark would be like, a very big playboy billionaire who just secretly has a heart of gold, who wants to do the right thing, can be selfish at times. But overall, this is just a great film. Next is the best of the three Iron Man movies. It's Iron Man 3. Yes, I know I am already knowing everyone's complaining about the Mandarin. But that's not what this is about. This is about the great moments seeing Tony Stark be Tony Stark, and it's about how Iron Man is not the suit of armor. It's Tony Stark, and that's what I loved about it. Because throughout most of the movie, he's not in that armor. And that last action scene was great. It was such a great time. It's such a smaller action scene, but with so much going on that just puts a smile on my face while I was watching it. Just seeing all those suits just attacking the people with the extremist virus in them, and it was just such a blast. And Shane Black knows how to write these movies. I know some people think it's new to Shane Black, but it's a Marvel movie, so obviously he can't make an R-rated film like he would with Lethal Weapon or something along those lines, or Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. But still, all the acting in this was wonderful, and all the action in it was wonderful, and even the kid in the movie wasn't obnoxious for once in a movie. Overall, it was just a great time. And I know a lot of people will always complain about the Mandarin twist in it, but Marvel, the Cinematic Universe movies, it has to separate itself from the comics sometimes, not just in how their characters' origins and things along those lines. For example, Thor, people who know Thor know that Thor is a doctor, and the comic books who has a staff that gives him the power of Thor. And in the movies, it's not that. He's actually the god Thor in the movie. And this, though, like I said, the biggest selling point of it is showing that Tony Stark is Iron Man, not the suit. And that's what makes it great. Alright, we're down to the top 3 now. And everyone knew this was coming. It's the First Avengers. The First Avengers just had it where it counts. It had great action, great characters, and it didn't just have them loving each other at first. They had to bicker at each other at first, and I liked that. And then it was just this build up to this grand spectacle of action, which I think was better. It was a better set piece than the Age of Ultron finale. I mean, the Age of Ultron finale was great with everyone just teaming up in combat, but this one just brought a bigger smile to my face because seeing them all together for the first time was just wonderful. It was so good I had to buy the 3D Blu-ray of it, even though I don't have a 3D Blu-ray player. And I love this set. I got a free poster from it and everything. It was so cool. It has so many discs. It's just a great... It came with a free comic, I think. There's a reason why people hold this one to high acclaim, and that people like this one better and has a better Rotten Tomatoes score, because it is the better movie. It just simply is. And $1 billion is not a box office flop. That's what irritated me about Age of Ultron, is they said, oh, it made over $1 billion. It made its money. It's fine. Trust me. But the original Avengers is something to behold. The fact that they got it right on the first try is what I believe to be the best part of it. It's the first time they ever teamed up on the big screen, at least. And it was just such a phenomenal feat. Now, of course, it doesn't have all of them on there. It's just Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, and Captain America. Just those 4. And then Black Widow, Hawkeye, and Nick Fury are in it too. But it's not the entire squadron, which will show up later, like Falcon, War Machine, Spider-Man now, which makes me extremely happy that Spider-Man's finally in it. Spider-Man, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, all of them, maybe even a specific team might join in. I'll bring them up later. Captain Marvel. But anyways, I'm not talking about Captain Marvel, I'm just saying she might join this. It's not the entire squadron as of yet, but the 4 that they got in here, just the chemistry between them all just worked. Now, this may be the most violent of them all, and it is definitely a very violent movie. And it's very political, it's very dark, much darker than the first one. It's Captain America Winter Soldier. This takes everything from the first Captain America and amps it up till 11. It is such a great time, and it holds nothing back. It's violent. People die in this movie. That's one thing I can say I like about these Marvel movies. While main characters don't stay dead, everyone knows the thing about Phil Coulson and Nick Fury in this one. Main characters don't stay dead. It's Marvel. But they're not afraid to kill off people. In Iron Man 3, there's people who get disintegrated. In this, people get shot. There's bodies being punched all over the place. And it is just so great. The fight choreography in this was wonderful. But that's not just what it's about. It's not just about the fight scenes. It's about seeing Captain America fight against something he's worked for so long. He's being betrayed by the S.H.I.E.L.D. organization, someone who he was an ally to, and seeing that S.H.I.E.L.D. was controlled by such a horrific being that was Hydra, which was a Nazi, who worked as part of the Nazis. Seeing Captain just have to go through that, and then seeing his best friend from his childhood becoming his enemy was just mind-blowing. Everything just worked perfectly in this elaborate puzzle of a film that really is hard to match. Just something about the Winter Soldier, I can't even put into words how it works. It just does so well. And not many movies can do that. I know some of these are bigger in action scenes, but just the sheer amount of horror that Captain America had to go through, not knowing who to trust, seeing someone die, and then seeing his best friend becoming his now enemy, that is brutal. And it doesn't hold back on the violence, but it doesn't hold back on the humor. I forget the writers' names. I know they wrote for Community, but they really know how to write good comedy. And it's not like the comedy is out of place. It is not out of place at all. It is timed perfectly so that way it can be told perfectly. It's just a wonderful story. I never read. I don't know if there's a Winter Soldier comic. If there is, I haven't read it. I did read a few Captain America comics, but the main comics I read from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but Marvel characters I read were Punisher, Spider-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, Star-Lord, Iron Man, and Daredevil. And Black Panther. I read Black Panther. Captain America was kind of on my, not read list. I read a few Captain America, don't get me wrong, just not as much as I have those other ones. But this is how I would have made a Captain America movie. That is it. Plenty of political intrigue, plenty of great action, plenty of great comedy, just an overall wonderful film. Now, while I praised that film to death, it's not my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. Oh no. No, sir. My favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movie has to go to one that I saw in theaters 4 times. One that I shared with my friends over and over and over again. One that has one of my favorite writers and directors of today. And that would be Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes, Guardians of the freaking Galaxy. Talk about a freaking miracle. At the end of Captain America, the post-credits scenes, they talk about it's the age of miracles. This movie's a miracle because it's a team of characters no one's ever heard of a team no one's ever heard of, and it worked perfectly. Like Groot, he doesn't say anything except "I am Groot." Rocket, he's a talking raccoon. Gamora, Green Woman, who's just like the Black Widow of the group. Drax, he's Drax, and Star-Lord, just a cocky, arrogant guy. No one's heard of these people, and if they did, they were one of the bigger cult followings of the Marvel universe. And you know what? They perfected it. I've read the Guardians of the Galaxy comics, and they are different. It's not the same. His origin story in the movie, it's not the same as it is in the comics. In the comics, his mom dies from aliens, and he becomes the Star-Lord. He earns the title. It's not like in this one where he gives it to himself. But that's okay. You see, this is what I mean. Not every adaptation has to be completely accurate to be a great adaptation. This is not that accurate to it. In the comics, Drax, he has magical powers. Rocket and these 3, they're fine. They're like how they are in the comics, but they changed these guys. And the villain, Ronan, they changed him because in the comics, he's not necessarily a bad guy. He's just a judge. He's an accuser. He accuses people of crimes. There's times where he's even a good guy in the comics. And a lot of people say he's not perfect, and I do wish they would have focused on him a little bit more. But still, he's a great villain, and that cameo from Thanos was great. Just seeing that Hulk-sized, twice as powerful as Hulk guy, just that menacing Josh Brolin voice, that was wonderful to see. I know it's just a cameo, just to force it into the Avengers universe, but wow. The space combat, the hand-to-hand combat, everything that's combat related in this movie was wonderful. And it's a great comedy film, too. Would you have imagined that? It's a comedy film. It's a comedy sci-fi action thriller film that has everything that a movie needs. This is just pure entertainment. This is what I like about this movie. That's one thing that I think James Gunn knows, is that films don't have to be like this big experiment. They just have to be entertaining. And that's what this is. That's why I give it such high acclaim. It is entertaining, like the Star Trek movie, like Empire, like Return of the Jedi, like any Sam Raimi movie. They just have to be entertaining, and that's what this is. It is just an entertaining film. I mean, even though I'm saying it's just an entertaining film, that doesn't give it. It's not that I'm taking away any of its merits. I am not. It has great merits on its own right. All the characters, all the acting, wonderful. All the writing, wonderful. The directions, the shots. It is just perfect in every way. Movies need to try and strive to be Guardians of the Galaxy. That's the movie more movies of its type need to strive to be. When I saw the first preview for Star Wars The Force Awakens, I'm wearing that shirt now, if people haven't noticed, my exact thoughts were, Guardians of the Galaxy is probably going to be a better Star Wars movie than the new Star Wars. I mean, the new trailers have got me more hyped, and I'm definitely excited to see it. But I think Star Wars and Star Trek movies need to take notes from this. Not, like, copy it, but just remember. Make it entertaining, make it heartfelt, and make it loving. Anyways, where would Ant-Man fall on this? I'd probably put it in between Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 3 because I really loved Ant-Man. Ant-Man was great. But I don't have that on DVD. That won't be it, and Blu-ray. That's why it's not on this list. I have to own it if I'm going to put it on a list. But when it comes out, I'm definitely going to love watching it again. Anyways, those are my favorite. That's my order of favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, from least favorite to most favorite. I don't know if any of them are ever going to beat Guardians of the Galaxy. Maybe Black Panther. Maybe Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Maybe even Inhumans. Because Inhumans and Black Panther are now the ones I'm most excited for. Infinity War I'm hoping for, but I'm really excited for Black Panther. I just hope they get a director soon. Anyways, I know no one's agreeing with this list, but I hope everyone enjoys my opinion, and I hope you have a good opinion too. I mean, it's your opinion. In fact, Guardians of the Galaxy could be on the very bottom. I won't care. You can think it's a trash movie. That's your opinion. I won't agree with you, but just remember, this is all for fun. That's the one thing that these Marvel movies have, is that they're all constantly fun. None of them try to be anything more than a good, solid comic book film. And of all of them that did it the best, in my opinion, Guardians of the Galaxy is the one. And I hope in the future I get to see the Guardians team up with the Avengers. Anyways, that was my video. Catch y'all later.